Linus Pauling was a Nobel Prize winner, a chemistry pioneer who published over 1,200 papers. His work inspired Rosalind Franklin, James Watson, Francis Crick, and Maurice Wilkins, who would go on to discover the structure of DNA. Linus, he was one of the great science minds of the 20th century. But he also had this wacky belief. Take an extremely high dose of vitamin C, Linus said, and you could cure or prevent a range of diseases. Everything from the cold to schizophrenia to heart disease, AIDS, even cancer. Linus, he took his own advice. Every day, he swallowed 18,000 milligrams of vitamin C, which is about 120 times the recommended dose. Even though study after study after study proved Linus wrong, that high doses of vitamin C could not cure those illnesses, Linus clung to his beliefs. He said, oh, those studies were poorly designed. They didn't use a high enough dose of vitamin C, or they didn't adjust for people's individual variability in how much vitamin C they could tolerate. There was always a problem with the studies, not with his beliefs. And then in 1970, Linus publishes his book. It was called Vitamin C and the Common Cold, and it sold a huge number of copies, and it helped to popularize the idea of taking huge amounts of vitamin C. And popularized it did. I read this old article from the Oregon newspaper, The Bulletin, and they said that local sales of vitamin C were 10 times higher the year after Linus's book came out compared to the year before. I mean, think back to when you were a child. Were you ever told that taking high doses of vitamin C could maybe prevent or ease a cold? I was. But it doesn't. But that's where the idea came from. It came from Linus. And today, around half of Americans regularly take vitamin C supplements. They usually don't hurt you, but nor do they help. Linus Pauling, he was a brilliant chemist, one of the best of the 20th century. But being smart in one area, in this case chemistry, didn't stop him from making mistakes in another. But we don't usually think of intelligence like that. We usually think a smart person is a smart person. But there are a bunch of other examples. Many Nobel Prize winners have gone on to believe some pretty unscientific things. Charles Rickett, who won the 1913 Nobel Prize in physiology, he also believed in extrasensory perceptions, dowsing, and ghosts. Nicholas Tinbergen, he won the Nobel Prize in 1973, also for physiology. And as an acceptance speech, he explained how autism is caused by parents, especially the mother, because they didn't give enough emotional support to their child. Brian Johnson won the Nobel Prize in physics in 1973, and he also believed in homeopathy, the idea that water has a memory and can remember chemical properties that used to be in it. He also believed that when you practice transcendental meditation, it can bring unconscious traumatic memories to your conscious self. Oh, and also that humans can communicate by telepathy. Luc Montagnier, he won a Nobel Prize in physiology in 2008 because he co-discovered HIV. But he also believed that vaccines cause autism, that DNA sequences could be teleported from test tube to test tube by radio waves. There is this semi-joking idea called the Nobel Prize Disease, that Nobel Prize winners publicly declared smart people have gone on to believe some truly wacky, unscientific things. The key point is this: being smart in one area of life does not mean you'll be smart in another. But we constantly face situations where we ask ourselves if someone's expertise in one area makes them credible in another. Should we trust a successful business person's views on climate change? A brilliant engineer's theories about economics? A famous author's medical advice? We assume a smart person is a smart person. But you wouldn't ask Gordon Ramsay to design your kitchen just because he's a great chef.